After not being
live, family, listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Slap.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah!
What the f*** are you talking about?
After 1 week hiatus, the boys are back. Rivals every Monday at 10:30. I'm Jordan. He's Luke. We're back. Let's start off with our sponsor for tonight. We got Gleason's Bar and Grill. Gleason's Bar is located at 6700 Mill Creek Avenue in Levittown, Pennsylvania. Use promo code A2D for 10% off your order, whether you dine in, take out, or online. Gleason'sBarandSteaks.com. And let's kick it off with our poll question tonight. Starting off, we got a poll question about my Giants. Rough week one, bounced back yesterday with OW, but it says the Giants will finish last in the NFC East. And I'm going to let Luke start off with this one because I got a lot to say.
I'm going to say yes, but I would have said no had Saquon not have gotten hurt. And the reason I say that is because you look at the two highlights of their season. They've had a lot of lowlights, don't get me wrong. But you look at the two highlights. One was the first drive of the Dallas game before the blocked field goal.
Sure.
And the other one was the second half of yesterday. And when I look at the two of those, and also when I look at last year too, it's always been Saquon. It's come down to Saquon and just how, involved he is. And I said it to you. We were in this, we were together when the game was on. At halftime, you went off to a separate room. You can't watch it with me. I don't blame you. I don't watch the bird games with you either. We can't do that.
No.
But, when at halftime, when you guys were down and you were pissed off, the first thing I said to you was, I don't understand how this guy has 7 touches. That doesn't make any sense. And I understand that they were down. And I understand that kind of impacts how many touches he gets, in the second quarter, sure. Do me a favor. Watch back that first drive in the Dallas game before that blocked field goal. He literally ate the ball, on the first drive. And then what happened in the second half? Maybe they weren't running the ball as much, but they were looking for him. He was the featured, not even back. He was the featured receiver on that team. So I'm going to have to say that they will finish in last because he's on the team, right? And I think it's safe to say that quarterback-wise and everything-wise and coaching-wise, I hate Jonathan Gannon, screw that guy, but Arizona could be probably the worst team in the league, okay? And it took you all that to beat them, and I get it, a win is a win in the NFL, and that was really impressive coming back. I'm not taking away the win. But what I am saying is if you take away Saquon, I mean, it's hard to win games, and you're not really even that talented with him. So, who's your guy? And I like Hyatt. I think he's a good player. I think he was a steal, sure, all those things. But if he's your number one target as a receiver, I get it, Dave Waller too. That's a problem. Offensive line issues, that's a massive problem. It looks like anyone Dallas goes up against, they blow up their offensive line. But, I mean, that was, to a whole other level. Yeah. And everyone talked about the Jets' offensive line issues and how bad their offensive line was. Going up against Dallas, the Giants looked 10 times worse, and the Jets didn't look good at all either. So I have no faith in them whatsoever, and it's not me hating. It's really not. It's hard to be now 3 weeks behind schedule without Saquon to really predict that they will catch up and win, enough games to not finish in last.
No, okay. I am going to disagree to the poll, and there's, again, no bias at all, but I think when you look at the Giants compared to the Commanders, because right now the two clear front runners in the NFC East are the Eagles and the Cowboys. But when you come to 3 and 4, I don't think there's even a reasonable gap between the two. Okay, you just talked about Jalen Hyatt. You didn't even talk about Daniel Jones' favorite target in these first 2 weeks, Darren Waller.
Yeah, completely.
These tight ends in reception yards. he's going to be a piece for these Giants in these next coming weeks. Saquon rumored to be out 3 weeks. Jordan feeling so good right now.
I don't know about all that.
I'm not feeling too good right now, but we'll leave that for a little bit. But no, I mean, it's going to be hard to win games without him. Sure, they don't got much behind him on the depth chart. You got Matt Breida, you got Eric Gray, he's a rookie, you got Gary Brightwell, not many touches. There's not much going on in that backfield. But when Daniel Jones plays with confidence, and we saw it in the second half, he played like 2019, 2018 Daniel Jones in that first half. The second half, he was a totally different ball player. He got the ball out of his hands quick. He made the plays that he had to. He put his body on the line. I mean, what the hell? Why aren't you gonna believe in them after they've had all this? They don't even have a single sack. They barely can create any QB pressure against the Cardinals. But if that offense is firing on all cylinders, and if this Giants defense can hold that San Francisco offense to, I don't know, maybe 20, 24 points, the offense produces again for a whole football game, you got a chance to beat them. And I'm not saying they're going to beat them because, God, the San Francisco offense it's crazy. I mean, you got Brandon Ayuk had a down game. Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, the two-headed monster in that backfield. George Kittle, they haven't even really exploited him. Brock Purdy, I hated on him all offseason. I was like, there's no way the 49ers do anything without a quarterback this season. He's looked pretty goddamn good. But then let's go back to the Commanders. And you said that the Giants are going to finish last. And sure, some people are going to say that. The Commanders haven't beaten all squad, dude. They've beaten the Cardinals that we beat by 4 points on a touchdown down the line.
Yeah.
And then they beat the Broncos after coming back against them by 20 points.
Yeah.
And when you come back from somebody by 20 points, what does it say about their opponent? They're weak. They're weak.
Well, the same could be said about the Giants, though. And they got absolutely spanked.
No, they got absolutely manhandled. But listen, a win is a win. It goes down in the column the same as a 40-0 win that the Cowboys did to us. And I'm not gonna sit here celebrate. I'm happy they got the win. We needed one in the win column, but I just don't think it is possible that the Giants finish last in this division. I'm also not gonna hop on the Dallas train where they're miles ahead of us. But when it comes down the line and when this offense can finally figure shit out, this line is abysmal. This defense can't generate any pressure. We still don't even have a pick. These rookie corners, I've seen stats that they've let up like little to no completions, and I find that as horseshit because I mean you saw Marquise Brown, you saw Zach Ertz, they were tearing apart their secondary in the first half. Sure, in the second half they shut them down a little bit. In the first half, Josh Dobbs was playing like Brady. I mean, come on, he was tearing them apart. What the hell?
I mean, yeah, Saquon's out 3 weeks is what it said, and it could be 4 is what I read today. Let's look at their next 4 games. I don't see a win, especially without Saquon. I don't see it. So you're 1-1 right now.
Sure.
At San Francisco, I'm going to chalk up a loss.
Okay.
At home against Seattle, you could win, but I'm not predicting it.
I think we're going to win with the way Geno is playing right now. I think
he's playing fine. He's playing fine. He's playing better than the Giants are right now, I'll tell you that. Yeah. They just went on the road to Detroit. That's a way better win than
No, it sure as hell is a better win. I'm not celebrating.
And then they're on the road at Miami, who some think are like a top 3 team in the league right now. Then they're at Buffalo. Those are 4 losses, in my opinion.
Ryan Daboll's returning home.
Yeah, okay. That's okay. So that's 1-5. And to me, it's hard to come back.
I think you squeaked out a win in one of those 4 games, and I'll confidently say that.
I don't know. Either way, 2-4 is not great.
It's not a great way to start up the season, sure, but I mean, what are you going to do without your star player? There's not much you can do. I mean, Daniel Jones is going to have to generate a pass game like he did in the second half.
If Saquon Barkley did not get hurt yesterday, my opinion is completely different. I don't think that they come in last.
That's right.
This is somebody who thought that. I mean, now it looks like an idiotic opinion, but again, you got to go out on a limb. I thought that Dallas would come in 3rd in the division going into the year, and I thought that the Giants would come in 2nd. Yeah. Clearly, I was off. I bought way too much stock into some of the guys they have. And Saquon had such an impact. There were so many different plays. Like I finally got to like really watch that game because it wasn't playing same time as the Eagles game. But like when he's in that game and you bring up Waller and he's really good, one of the better tight ends in the league, no question about it. And that was a great pickup. However, once teams start to key in on that and they're not scared of Matt Breida beating them, because a lot of what he gets, again, credit to him. I'm not taking anything away from him. But Saquon Barkley makes his life way easier. I feel like, I don't know how many catches he had last game. Maybe he had like 7. That's a guess. I don't know. It felt like 4 of them were off RPOs where they were just packing the box because they didn't want Saquon to beat them, and they'd rather Daniel Jones and Darren Waller beat him like anyone would. So again, that will all be game planned for that much more. Like that will be taken away that much more. And I get he's really good and he's still going to get touches and he's still going to put up numbers because he's that good. But he's not going to be as effective because Saquon helps him so much. I could say the same thing about the Eagles. I feel like if one of our receivers go down or something like then the other one will hurt. You know what I mean? It's like the same kind of high-low thing. But you bring up the defense. I get it. Wink Martindale he's got a lot of balls. He throws out the blitz. He throws out the blitz all the time. There's certain things, and in football especially, you have to cater to your personnel.
Yeah.
When I look at the Giants, it's hard because they're really not getting pressure with Hurts. I mean, they're not getting pressure with 4. And their secondary is just so young and inexperienced, and they don't have a lot of studs there. I don't trust them for shit either. So
yeah. I mean, and we could argue for days on this.
You're right.
Well, let's kick it to our. We got two other sponsors for tonight, along with Gleason's Bar. We got Hats.com. In 2018, Eagles legend Brian Dawkins was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. To commemorate this moment, B-Dog designed and launched an exclusive collaboration with Bowman Hat Company, America's oldest hat maker on Hats.com. Brian's love of hats and the Eagles were on proud display in Canton. And now you can find yourself in that same iconic Hall of Fame fedora. Just go to Hats.com and search Brian Dawkins and use the code Philly for 15% off your order. Go to Hats.com, use the code Philly, get that fedora, rocking it. B-Dog look awesome you can. And then our other sponsor, we want to give a shout out to Royal Billiards. Check out Royal Billiards and Recreation, the coolest place for all of your game room and man cave needs. For the last 41 years, this family-owned business has been the premier game room store of the Delaware Valley, stocked with the very best in pool tables and accessories, shuffleboards, card tables, dart supplies, bars, and bar stools. Turn any ordinary room into an extraordinary gaming experience. Oh, did we mention they have hot tubs too? Stop by Royal Billiards, located at 515 Bethlehem Pike in Colmar, Pennsylvania, or on the web at royalbilliard.com for everything fun on your home or office. Find all your game room and man cave needs at royalbilliard.com. They are the best. Go check them out. And we missed last week, so we're going to start off with our week 1 recap. Start off with Luke's Birds got it done against the Patriots. Pretty ugly win, I gotta say.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give too much credit to the Patriots, but they held their own.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bill Belichick has a really good week 1, week 2 record. If you give him that much time to prepare for a game, it normally comes out with a win. And I think once the line came out, I mean, even before that, once the schedule came out, the first game at Foxborough, you had to expect it to be close. I don't take much stock from that game at all, other than the fact that we played like shit against a pretty good team. I'm not going to say that they're great. Definitely not going to say that, but I also don't think they're that bad. They're very well coached, and we still found a way to win. So I'm not walking out of there ecstatic, but I'm not walking out of there, as like this guy in the comments to think Washington's going to be the better. I'm not going to say a Sam Howell quarterback team is going to be better than mine,
Sure.
Especially a team that just went to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to say all that, but yeah, I don't know. I there's definitely some concern, and we'll get into week 2 in a second. But in terms of that week 1, I'm not going to spend too much time on it because so many people have covered it since then. But yeah, again, just a weird game, like shitty weather. The offense couldn't really get anything going, and the defense kind of carried in the beginning of that game. Thank God they did, or else we probably would have lost. And it's just, good teams find a win find a way to win games, and that was just one of those moments. So
Yeah,
it was what it was.
Week 1 for the Giants, obviously very abysmal loss. Not much I can say that went well except that first drive. Daniel Jones looked like the old Daniel Jones. This offensive line looked like Swiss cheese. The defensive line couldn't generate any pressure, still can't. This secondary, they didn't look all terrible. I will say that. Dak Prescott didn't look all that good. They made their defense look good. They made their special teams look good. Generated 2 touchdowns. The Cowboys did off pick 6 and a blocked field goal. So very abysmal loss. Notable week 1. I mean, your Falcons. You predict them to win the NFC South. They're rolling right now. Big win in week 1. Joe Burrow starting off terribly. We'll get into that in a little bit. The Jags started off against the Colts with a win. Pretty obvious there. Big surprise in my opinion in Minnesota with the Bucs walking off against that one. And then as we get on down the line, the 49ers manhandling them, Ravens manhandling the Texans. Jordan Love, actually, great debut. I had a lot of hate for him, and I had a lot of hate for Brock Purdy. They both showed out week 1. And then other than that, not much. We saw Rodgers go down, very sad. Don't normally root for the Jets, but when I can, I will. But very sad to see him go down, your boy. But yeah, week 1, very interesting. We also had the Rams beat the Seahawks too. But let's get into more of week 2. So week 2, start off with your boys on Thursday night.
Weird game. Very weird game. And if there's a team that it should be very worried, it's Minnesota. I mean, they are not good, it seems, at all. Offensively, it doesn't seem much scares me, even though it feels like they have a lot of talent, which might be a sign that Kirk Cousins is on his way out of Minnesota or possibly out of the league itself. He just looks slow and just way worse than last year even. Just not good start for him at all. In terms of the Eagles, again, kind of concerning, but the one thing that keeps me confident, the one thing that kept me going, and every Eagle fan should feel the same way as I'm sure they did. When we kept getting those turnovers and we couldn't convert and we couldn't get at it, the one thing I kept saying, every Eagles fan around me kept saying, I'm sure all around Philadelphia and the tri-state that was rooting for him were saying, just keep pounding it. It seems to work every single time they do it. And for some reason, they, obviously the offensive coordinator, Shane Steichen, goes out to Indy, and it seems like he's doing a fine job there so far. Obviously Richardson's getting hurt, so we're hoping for the best for him there. But the new offensive coordinator, and they did this at times last year too, even with the success they had, just throw happy, just wanting to throw the ball, just wanting to do it. And I get it. Minnesota was bringing heat pretty much the entire first half. When you have the offensive line that we have and the bullies that we have up there, I mean, my God, I feel like, when in doubt, especially when you can't keep your offense on the field, I did not understand why the hell they didn't just revert to the run. Second half, they did that a little bit more. But really, second quarter, they did that a little bit more. And then the longer passing game got going. But here's something that I want. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. How do you drop that? We're watching the Steelers game right now. But here's something that I wanted to bring up. And this is very interesting. I got some heat because when we did the top 10 receiver list, I had Devontae Smith on my honorable mention, and you kind of shouted me out for it and called me crazy or whatever like that. I don't think he's as good as A.J. Brown. I'm not saying that. I think A.J. Brown at this point is better. He's outperforming him, yes, but I also think that, and I also said this when I defended him at that time, and I'll say it now, he could be a number 1 receiver on probably 75% of teams in the NFL right now.
Sure.
He is that good. And I got shit for calling him a Heisman winner, but it is damn hard to do. I know it was in college. I know it was a few years ago. But as a receiver, that is really fucking hard to do. And, he's showing it now how fucking unbelievable he is. 925.5. We talked about it with Money Pot the last time we were on. Free as shit of all time. I hope you got it. That is definitely up right now if you can live bet that. But, yeah. I'm not overly concerned. And the injuries suck. Losing Avonte Maddox sucks. these linebacker injuries with Nakobe Dean. That is not fun at all. I'm not liking the guys I'm seeing playing safety and linebacker. That is very, 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 very concerning. However, I keep saying it. In the NFC, there is not a single team that can line up against us that have a better quarterback and that have a better offensive line. And I will take that as far as it will lead me. I will. I don't care. I don't give a damn. And the defensive line has been the one steady thing throughout these last 2 weeks. They've been really good getting pressure. Secondary, again, linebacking core, questionable. But in terms of the NFC, how can I get back to the Super Bowl? That's point one before we go and win it. How do you get back? Every single team we face in the NFC, we have the better quarterback. We have the better offensive line. I'm feeling good. That's pretty much my takeaway so far.
Yeah, no, I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. It's not too concerning, but it is concerning when you're hanging in these games and you want to go back to the Super Bowl. Moving on to my Giants, obviously we touched on it with the poll. I'm not going to celebrate, and I'm not going to say, oh, we should have blown them out. Oh, we should have lost that game. I'm going to be content with our win, and I'm going to move forward. And you got to move forward without Saquon, which does suck. You got to move forward knowing that you only beat the Cardinals by 3 and that you just got blown out the week before by divisional rival, worst ever loss to the Cowboys the Giants have ever suffered. But you got to move forward. You got to focus on your next 3 opponents, whether you have Saquon Barkley or not. Luke said maybe even 4 weeks without him, which I sure as hell hope not. I hope it's only 2, but we'll wait and see. But, I mean, this offense showed some very bright sparks in the second half. And you touched on Jalen Hyatt. 2 receptions, 89 yards. He showed he can go up and get that ball, and he showed he has that breakaway speed. He's going to be a weapon to see in these next couple of weeks. Daniel Jones is going to have to use him a whole heck of a lot with a loss of a running game. Darren Waller, I touched on it earlier, leading all tight ends in reception yards right now. He's going to have to elevate his game. Isaiah Hodgins, we saw it down the line, got that tying touchdown, very big. But yeah, I mean, I've been saying it. Daniel Jones needs to elevate his game. He needs to play like he played in the second half and not in those first 6 quarters of the season. And the defense needs to step up. They got a whole lot of offense coming against them. They got a whole lot of good opponents coming in their next 4 games. They got to step up because this no sack, no turnover shit, it's not gonna hold. It's definitely not gonna hold. You're gonna lose games against good offenses like Brock Purdy and the 49ers, against Geno Smith. I don't know. We'll see at home. You gotta beat one of these 4 opponents these next 4 games.
Yeah.
Go at least 2-4. Hope Saquon comes back as healthy. Hope you can get Andrew Thomas back healthy. Hope you can get this team healthy because this O-line, it's abysmal. This defense, it's showing no signs of hope except Bobby Okereke. Shout out, one of the bigger signings, one of the under-the-radar signings this NFL offseason has seen. But, yeah, I mean, not too much to take away except we got to move forward. We got to just play like the last 2 quarters.
Yeah, and I'll address this Cowboys comment. They've looked really impressive, and one could say that they are more dangerous than the Eagles right now. There's no doubt about that, and I will not shit on that take whatsoever. I will tell you this, though. If you want to sit up here and tell me, based off of 2 weeks of football this season, that Dak Prescott is all of a sudden better than Jalen Hurts, I don't know what you're talking about.
He played horrible in week 1. Horrible.
He hasn't.
He had 150 yards.
He hasn't had to do much to help to elevate his team win. And my point is, when we line up against other teams in the NFC, I feel good because I can't point out a guy in the NFC right now that I feel better about than Jalen Hurts. I even think you could agree with that. And I don't think Jalen Hurts has played great at all. No. He hasn't. He's played like shit. But do me a favor. Look, go across the NFC. The whole league is the whole NFC outside of Dallas, yes, of course, and San Francisco's look great too. And quarterback-wise, I don't know how off of 2 weeks you could tell me that there's a better guy in the NFC right now than Jalen Hurts. I think that's a pretty absurd thing to say. Yeah. But the other thing, I feel like that's all I got to say. But also, like, go across the entire league right now. I really do think outside of Miami, Dallas, and San Francisco, I feel like every team has shown signs of, just not being at 100% and not being able to play at the highest level right now or even close to the highest level. Look at the Chiefs. They're a great example of that. I mean, they looked horrible even last week, and they pulled out a win. Defense looked good, but the offense did not look good at all. Detroit looked great week 1, and then week 2, the defense is like non-existent. So it's just like all over the league. You kind of see a bit of, mishap, and I'm not all too worried about it. Am I concerned? Hell yeah, I'm concerned. I expected more out of the gate for sure. But I'm not going to be like, oh, our season's over. We're fucked. And I'm not going to say that because we do have Jalen Hurts on our team. And the O-line, if there's one thing you cannot shit on the Eagles right now, it's the O-line. I'm very happy about the DeAndre Swift addition. I'm thrilled about it. I would do it a million times over. And he played unbelievable the other night, no doubt about it. He looked elusive, shifty, all those things. He was running through some holes. He was. You can ask my boy Miles Sanders what it was like tonight running for Carolina. He looked like a lost puppy. All right. It's fun running around this offensive line, and that is the reason that they ended up getting that win, because nothing was comfortable offensively all night until they said, you know what, we're just going to force feed, run, and it became easier as it got along. So, the O-line's still great. Jalen Hurts has not looked great, but we'll see what happens.
All right, I just want to jump on this $40 million down the drain comment. That is utter bullshit. Okay, who else are you telling me that the Giants should have taken? Who else are you telling me that the Giants should have traded for? Daniel Jones is our quarterback. Whether you want to say we'll chalk those first six quarters of the season. Look at these last 2 quarters. Look at these games ahead. Talk to me after that. It's 2 games. It's 2 goddamn games, and you're going to tell me $40 million is down the drain? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Take a look at yourself in the mirror and tell me that you're going to say that again.
Well, I read the comment you said before. You said the Giants suck. They do suck, but I will tell you as an Eagles fan that I say to you all the time, I think none of this relies on Daniel Jones at all. I don't think Daniel Jones stinks at all. Was he overpaid? That's a whole other question. But in terms of sucking, do me a favor. Go across the NFL right now. There are a whole lot worse quarterbacks in the NFL than Daniel Jones. And the other thing is that look at their problems. They don't stem back to Daniel Jones.
Hell no.
They have defensive problems.
It's the O-line. The O-line doesn't give him any help. And you're gonna tell me that it's all on Daniel Jones' plate.
Major O-line problems. And we were just talking about it. I like the Waller addition. It's fun to play with Saquon Barkley. But if you don't have a good offensive line and you're looking at Isaiah Hodgins as your top guy and Jalen Hyatt, who I get has been like a good find, I'm not sure how many quarterbacks outside of like Patrick Mahomes would do all that well with him.
You're talking about this season. He's sucked more than 2 games. Go back, watch last season, okay? I get 2019, I get 2020. Go back, watch last season, and tell me that he sucked.
And it was with guys, again, who like kind of ran.
Richie James, Isaiah Hodgins, Darius Slayton.
Yeah.
Tell me that he sucked.
Yeah, I'm not going to say he sucked. I tell you all the time, and I have, if anything, I've biased against him, but I don't. But even if I did, and I think they stem way, way past Daniel Jones. I mean, if anything, he pulled you out of that win completely. Yeah. I don't think the offensive line, even while they were going on that run, looked any better. He did a lot of stuff with his legs. And really saved the team a ton. So I'm not going to shit on him.
He put the team on his back in that second half, and that's all I got to say. We're going to kick it to our sponsors again, Royal Billiards. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor, and fun. Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
Go check Royal Billiards out. They got a whole lot for your man cave. And, so we're going to get back into our Week 2 NFL recap after talking about my Giants and Luke's Eagles. So Packers, Falcons. Falcons staying hot. Your boys are staying hot.
Yeah, hell yeah. Dude, I went out on a limb. In case you guys missed it, we did division winners before the season. I picked the Falcons. I went out on a limb. I picked the Falcons to win the division. They're 2-0 right now. Desmond Ridder looks he looks strong running the ball. Every time the ball goes in the air, though, I have a heart attack that it's gonna get picked off. So that's definitely a problem moving forward. The Saints are also 2-0, so that'll be a horse race to the end there. I believe they go on the road to Detroit this week, so that's a big game for them this week. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens there. But I like being right.
Yeah, Bills steamrolled the Raiders after a interesting loss against the Jets week 1, excuse me. Ravens beat the Bengals 2-0. Surprisingly, they're leading the AFC North right now, which is interesting. Seahawks overcoming the Lions in the overtime. Titans beating the Chargers. The Chargers 0-2. You were hating on the Chargers all offseason.
Yeah.
It's sure as hell showing.
Yeah.
Their coaching isn't the greatest.
Oh yeah.
How about the Buccaneers starting off? Not only is it the Saints, it's also the Buccaneers.
Right. True. I'm not gonna lie. I'm one of these people, but I feel like people are forgetting about them. I just did just then. So Baker, I'm a big Baker guy. Not this week, obviously, going against the Birds on Monday night, but yeah, I mean, he's fun to root for. He's a dog, I'll tell you that. He loves getting the crowd into it and shit, so it's fun to watch.
Yeah. So, I mean, Colts over the Texans. AR, if hopefully he's okay. What a human highlight reel to watch these first couple of games. 49ers, interesting. I mean, the Rams are showing something, and we saw Puka Nacua. We saw Kyron Williams. I mean, they got guys showing up for them, and it's not name brand guys like Cooper Kupp and Cam Akers. Cam Akers probably getting traded. He wants out. Sean McVay and him have a weird tension. Commanders over the Broncos. What a win for them after the Broncos completed that 50-yard Hail Mary and then get the 2-point conversion. Standout 2-0. Crazy. I have no faith in this guy, and I will still stay by that. Dolphins over the Patriots last night, and then tonight Saints held on against the Panthers after a little late burst by the Panthers, but it wasn't enough. And then right now we got the Browns 22-19 over the Steelers. What a brutal injury for Chubb. I mean, it was nauseating to watch that.
Yeah.
I mean, just a talented running back. You could argue I'd say he's probably second best to McCaffrey right now.
Yeah, and you look at, going into this week, they kind of looked like probably the better team through 2 weeks. I get it's only 2 weeks, so we'll see. It's a long season. But they look probably like the best team in that. Obviously, they're still playing now. I get it. But Baltimore didn't look all that strong week 1. And this week, yes, on the road, tough place to play now, especially in Cincy pulling that one off. But they kind of, if you were to ask me going into tonight who I thought would have the biggest odds, the best odds to win the division, especially with the Bengals being 0-2, I probably would have said Cleveland. But now I feel like it's kind of steering the direction of Baltimore. After that injury, that's a big one.
I feel like the Steelers will pull this out. I mean, their defense is just carrying them. Kenny Pickett, he had all the shine on, all the cameras on him this all season, and he's been nothing but nothing really. I mean, he hasn't looked all that special, all that promising. But yeah, I mean, going into week 3, it'll be interesting. Before we get into our week 3 predictions, let's go over some college ball. So this past weekend, our boys Penn State got the dub. Aller first road start and didn't look too promising. The defense had to do a lot. I think 4 or 5 turnovers, but hey, a win's a win, like I say. Georgia 10-point win. I mean, not the greatest. Our boys in Ann Arbor 31-6 win. Let's hope that we can beat them when they come here. Florida State squeaks one out against Boston College, and it's surprising that they didn't fall in the rankings at all. Texas staying high, or Ohio State, 35 in the second quarter. I had no clue.
All right, before we keep
going. No, I'm not at all glazing.
Oh no, I'm not saying you're glazing them, but as you brought up our school and them, this is not even on some bias shit. Let me tell you something. James Franklin, if somehow you're watching this, okay, This is your time. The time is now. Ohio State doesn't have a first-round, 5-star crazy quarterback, okay? He doesn't. They do not. This is the time. If you want to go to Columbus and you want your big-time win, it comes this year. That's it. This is it.
100%.
And doubters like me, because I am totally a doubter. I go to this school, and I don't have any confidence in whatsoever. If you want me to believe an ounce of any more of the recruiting shit you bring in for future years to come, for optimism for years to come, any of that kind of stuff, it starts this year. You have to win this game. Have to. You're the better team. I don't give a shit if you're on the road. I don't care what the weather is. I don't care about none of that. You have the better quarterback. You have the better offensive line. You have the better defense. At the end of the day, you should win those games pretty much every time. So this is it. I mean, and in terms of like Alar, you brought it up earlier, you look kind of iffy. That kind of reminds me a bit of like the Daniel Jones experience for me. The offensive line on pass pro is just getting absolutely manhandled. Running wise, it seemed like he was going fine, but they could not handle a blitz in the passing game to save their lives. And receivers were just not getting open. I like Lambert Smith a lot. I think he's a good gadget guy, but I don't know if he could be a wide receiver one on your team. Even without those receivers, you're still a 10-time better on paper roster than Ohio State is. So you should totally win that game. I don't want to hear any excuses.
Yeah. Washington, Michael Penix. We'll get into. I want to get into a little Heisman talk after we go through this, just to see your thoughts, and I'll share mine. Notre Dame steamroll Central Michigan at Bama. Close game in the first half. They pulled away in the second half. UF over Tennessee. I mean, great win for them. Having Tennessee come onto their turf and just shock them. Utah win. Oregon stays hot. Go Knicks. What a comeback story.
Facts.
I mean, he came to Penn State. It was freshman year was the whiteout against him. And
Auburn.
I was like, he looked horrible. Like, why is he an SEC quarterback? Hits the portal, goes to Oregon, and he's making a name for himself this year. I mean, I think he's 5 in Heisman voting right now. Kansas State knocked off by Mizzou. And then the game of the weekend, probably Colorado State. I don't know if you stayed up for that game. It was a crazy game till about the witching hours at 3 a.m. But Coach Prime, I mean, the boys, the Sports Hounds earlier had a Rob Brinkman loves Coach Prime, and I'm not gonna believe all the hype. I gotta be honest. I mean, sure, he's got that drip, he's got that cool chain around his neck. Sure, he's coaching his sons. That's a father's dream. I'm not gonna believe all the hype. And going into Oregon, I think they're like 16-point dogs.
I think it's 18.
18?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a betting man, but I would probably take the points for Oregon. Bo Nix looks unreal right now. No Travis Hunter, who Shedeur Sanders throwing it to. I mean, I forget their tight end they were throwing it to down the line. They obviously squeaked out that win, but yeah, it's going to be hard for them with no Travis Hunter. But shout out Buffs making a name for themselves, 3-0 in their first 3 games. Oklahoma with a promising win. UNC with a promising win. Duke with a promising win. Not many other big name opponents. Iowa 41-10. We got them this weekend. Bring them on. Come on. I think they're 20. They went up to 24. I mean, James Franklin. Let's look ahead after this whiteout game. The environment is just going to bring a win. Let's look ahead. Let's look at Ohio State in the next coming weeks. Let's look at Michigan in the next coming weeks. You gotta start game planning for these teams, whether you want to believe it or not, because they're powerhouse opponents. They're ranked higher than us. I mean, some people will argue they deserve to be ranked higher than us. They don't have many promising wins, but you gotta just put your foot on the gas with Drew Aller and just keep on going. Whether you don't have any weapons for Aller or not, you gotta just keep going.
Look at the top of the rankings too. I mean, Georgia obviously, they're gonna have one of the better defenses, if not the best defense at this point in college football, pretty much every year. I mean, it seems like this is a down year in college football, and the NFL is like this too. It seems like there's a lot of teams struggling, and seems the same in college football right now. I'm not sure if there's one team that just stands out among the rest. If there is, I guess talent-wise, it'd be Michigan. I believe that they kind of offensively and defensively, as people in the NFL say, 53-man roster, they would have the best roster in college football, even though they're not ranked number one right now. But again, looking at it, I think that roster-wise, even though they're not ranked in the top four, I think that they do have a top four roster in football, especially because of the quarterback. There's no excuse, none. You have to get there this year. I'm not waiting for the college football playoff to expand. I'm not doing that. I'm not waiting for the Big Ten to expand and you play USC and you play Oregon and Washington. I don't give a shit about any of that. I'm focused on right now. You said it yourself, James, that this is the best team you've coached. Be a man of your word and make it to the playoff. I'm tired of these Rose Bowl wins. They don't mean shit to me anymore. It's cool when you get there for the first time and you win it. That's great. I'm tired of it.
Let's go get that natty.
Yeah.
So we'll look ahead at this week. So obviously we just touched on Whiteout, big game. We'll both be in attendance. Wow,
Deshaun Watson, one of the crazier things I've ever seen.
But you got Rutgers against Michigan. I mean, Michigan's going to blow them out at home. FSU, Clemson. FSU goes on the road at Clemson, only a 2-point favorite. I mean, after that not so promising win against Boston College, I totally respect it. I mean, Jordan Travis, I believe he got hurt. I don't know what the status of him is for this upcoming week, but going to be an interesting game. Oklahoma, Cincinnati, and then I touched on it before, Colorado, Oregon. I think Bo Nix is going to blow Coach Prime out of the water, giving them their first actual competition of this year. But, hey, we can only wait and see. UCLA, Utah, you got two top 25 opponents. Would be interesting. Ole Miss, Bama, going to be a great game. Bama opens up as a 7-point favorite. This is the first year, I think, that I've seen a discrepancy in quarterback for the Crimson Tide. I mean, Nick Saban has no clue who he's going to.
It's bad. And that's another point. College football down this year. Bama's even struggling right now. That counts.
No, you gotta just take advantage of your opportunities if you're Penn State right now. Duke, UConn, Miami, Temple, Tennessee at home, Arkansas, LSU, and then you got another ranked game of Oregon State at Washington State, Charlotte, UF, UAB, Georgia. You got Texas on the road at Baylor, and then we see our opponent from five hours away. I mean, you got Ohio State on the road at Notre Dame. What a game! I mean, if there's an opponent, if there's a team I'm rooting for more than Penn State this week, it is Notre Dame. Go out, get that W against Ohio State. Show them that they're not that powerhouse football team that everybody says they are. Show Kyle McCord who he really is, that he's not that quarterback, that he doesn't have that special connection with Marvin Harrison. There's nothing going on there, and I'm tired of all the hype this year. Oh, they got the best running backs in the Big Ten. No, they don't. Take a look at Nick Singleton. Take a look at Katron Allen. Tell me that after. Tell me the same thing after that. I hope Notre Dame takes care of business, gets the job done against Ohio State, get them out of the top 10.
Let's go.
And then UNC, Pitt, USC, Arizona State, and then Cal, Washington. So I touched on it earlier. Heisman. You got a lot of quarterbacks that are probably going to run away with this award, you could argue. Caleb Williams still stands as a favorite, and I mean, I'd probably still stick with him. But a lot of underestimated guys behind him. I mean, you got Penix for Washington, giving them they're eighth right now. They're in the top 10. You got Bo Nix too. I love Bo Nix after having a resurgence in Oregon. Shedeur Sanders, I mean, he's making a name for himself. We'll see how he does against this Oregon team, an actual opponent that he's finally facing. And then other than that, it's about Quinn Ewers, Texas, Sam Hartman, and then Jordan Travis. I mean, not much competition behind Caleb Williams other than Penix. And I mean, you could argue there's a noticeable gap in between them.
I'm kind of looking at the odds right now. I'm a little sprinkle guy. I mean, why not JJ McCarthy? This is a guy, I said it just now, I think they have the best roster in college football. And I think by the end of the season, SEC will kind of beat up on each other enough to where I think they'll be the number 1 ranked team in the country. Do I think that gives them the Heisman? Probably not, but I think there's a shot that could happen. Yeah, why not throw a few buckers on that? Plus 1,800. I kind of like that.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see. Obviously, week 3, early college Heisman predictions. We did it earlier in the season, and I think we both agreed Caleb Williams is the obvious favorite, but there's some other long shots you could argue to take. Moving on, we're looking ahead at the week 3 slate. My Giants, again, been touching on this. No Saquon Barkley. How are they going to fare against this 49ers team? They're staying out in Arizona this week. Hopefully, they're sending Saquon home, obviously, to rest. Maybe we'll see him on Saturday. That would be unreal.
That'd be awesome.
But yeah, so they open up this week, Thursday night against the Niners. You can't be too confident against this Niners team right now. Did he touch that?
I don't know. I think he did.
Yeah. So, anyhow.
Now they're rolling in there.
Yeah. Anyhow, so you can't be too confident against this Niners team right now. Their defense is looking great. Their offense, I mean, Brock Purdy, I touched on it earlier. I was the biggest hater of him. I was the biggest hater of Jordan Love. I was the biggest hater of Sam Howell. All 3 of those guys are 2-0. Or, excuse me, Jordan Love's 1-1, but he's still outperformed Desmond Ridder this past week. Those guys are all balling out, and I'll get back to the 49ers. Brock Purdy has a whole lot of weapons surrounding him. Sure, he doesn't have he has more weapons than Jordan Love and Sam Howell, but he's putting on a show for these 49ers, and they're probably very happy that they didn't start Sam Darnold and that they didn't keep Trey Lance, and they stuck with their gut in Brock Purdy. And sure, Christian McCaffrey's having a great start to his season. We haven't really seen him much in the run game before this year, but they love him in the run game. And then when he gets tired, he just pitches to Deebo Samuel, and it's like fresh legs back there.
Yeah.
It's like they're not missing a beat. Obviously, you got weapons in the pass game. Deebo can obviously catch too. Ayuk, and then you got Kittle. It's going to be a tough game, and sure, I don't think we're going to win it. I just want to see some competition, and you could say, oh, why are you not going to give him any faith? Because after losing 40-0 and after beating the Cardinals 31-28, I'm not going to give us false hope and say, oh, we're going to go out and we're going to win this game. We're not, surely as hell not. So I don't think we'll win this game. It ultimately wouldn't shock me. It would shock me a lot, but it wouldn't shock me everything if we somehow squeak out a win.
Yeah.
Moving on, you got the Titans and the Browns. Browns hopefully take care of business. Falcons, Lions. I mean, tough game for your boys down in Atlanta.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Committed Falcons fan now. I don't know. This is probably the biggest one of the year. We'll see if we can pull it off.
Yeah. Saints, Packers. Let's see if Love can keep it going against the 2-0 Saints team. You got Broncos, Dolphins. Dolphins should take care of business.
Yep.
Russ had some fault. He's had some false hope for these guys. I mean, Sean Payton came in. He looked like he rejuvenated Russ in that first half, and then the second half they collapsed. So we'll see. Chargers, Vikings, too. Surprising 0-2 teams. Let's see who can get there first.
Not for me. Not for me.
Yeah, not from Luke. Pats, Jets. I think the Pats squeaked that one out against Zach Wilson. I'm not a huge fan of Zach Wilson. I think the Jets got to go out and get a quarterback.
No shot the Patriots go 0-3 either. I feel pretty good about that one.
Bills, Commies. I think the Bills take care of business there. Texans, Jags. Why did I think the Texans play the Jags? Oh, wait, no, it's this Colts week 1.
Yeah.
Lawrence would take care of business. My obviously MVP favorite. Colts, Ravens. Ravens should take care of business, especially if Richardson is out for the best of him. I mean, he's been an absolute pleasure to watch. Honestly, the best rookie quarterback so far. Bryce Young has showed something today, but I still think it's Richardson out of this draft class. 4 o'clock games, you got 3 of them. You got Panthers, Seahawks. Seahawks probably will get it done. Bears, Chiefs. Chiefs hopefully get another win on their belt. Justin Fields, they had all the hope for him in Chicago. Tried surrounding him with talent, and they've done nothing.
Yeah.
Cowboys, Cardinals. Cowboys, unfortunately, probably going to go to 3-0. Steelers, Raiders next Sunday. Not a huge game, but we'll see. The Steelers. I mean, if the Steelers right now they're looking to go 0-2, so we'll see. It could be a very interesting game. You got the Eagles and the Bucs.
Hell yeah. Big one. This is probably our first big test for our defense, I'd say. Obviously, the quarterback's something all that's special, but some secondary injuries. Obviously, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin is something that worries me a little bit. But we're also a team, considering we have no safeties or really nickel cornerback at this point either. Tight end in the middle of the field is something that is a huge problem. T.J. Hawkinson ripped us apart. Hunter Henry ripped us apart. I don't really know much. Yeah, I'm not really all too concerned with what Tampa has there. So I'm feeling good about a win, but we'll see.
Yeah, and then there's actually 2 Monday night games again next week. I hated it.
Yeah, I'd rather just watch them on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you got the Rams. So you got the Rams and the Bengals. Matt Stafford. If there was anybody I was hating on this all season, it was him.
We got into it.
I was the biggest hater of Matt Stafford, and he's definitely proved me
throwing
wrong.
it to nobodies.
Joe Burrow. We'll see if he can squeak out a win after being the highest paid player in the NFL right now. So we'll see. It's looking like a good slate for week 3. Before we sign off, we're gonna give us our shout out of the week. So, so my shout out of the week. I'll it's an interesting one, but I'm gonna go with my boy. Have him in fantasy in one of my leagues, Keenan Allen. And if there's a receiver, wow.
TJ Watt, Tutty. Wow.
Player of the year.
Wow.
If there's a player that has been doing it for a while that has fell under the radar due to injuries, due to lack of opportunity, it's Keenan Allen. And he finally he's showing something this year. He's showing that, hey, he's still got it. I believe he's 29. Let me double check on that. But he's looking good. Oh, he's 31. Excuse me. He's pretty old. Still getting after it. But
dude, this guy Highsmith with a pick 6 and a forced fumble for TJ Watt for a touch. What a day. That's my shout out.
Yes, so Keenan Allen, my shout out of the week, keeps doing what he's been doing. One of the best route runners right now, one of the best better receivers. And so yeah, Keenan Allen is my shout out of the week. Luke, what about you?
Yeah. First off, I'm gonna go with a quick little Sixers shout out, because why not? Fuck it. Give me Kelly Oubre. Probably had some offers on the table, but coming here, am I gonna say we're gonna win the finals now? Absolutely not. But fuck it. I'll take Kelly Oubre, who averaged 20 points a night for a dog shit team before he got hurt. Give us some nice scoring off the bench. Why not? I like the signing. And then my other shout out of the week, I will go with my honorable top 10 mention. What we did earlier, we talked about him earlier, Devontae Smith. Start putting him in these conversations for top 10 receivers. He's a number 2 on his team, so he doesn't get that many touches, that many looks and targets on all that. He is nearing to be top 10. He's getting there. If he keeps this shit up, he will be there. And, he's my shout-out. Absolutely unbelievable start to the year for him. He's been the bright spot in the Eagles' offense, no doubt. And I'm excited to see what he does for the rest of the year. Yeah, all right. So that's it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, for commenting. We want to give a last shout-out to our sponsor for tonight, Gleason's Bar. Gleason's Bar is located at 6700 Mill Creek Ave in Levittown, Pennsylvania. Use promo code ATD for 10% off your order whenever you dine in, to take out or online. That's Gleason'sBarandSteaks.com. Again, thank you to everybody that's been commenting. We love the love in the comments. Keep subscribing, keep liking, keep tuning in. We're gonna keep on getting better and better. We got week 3 ahead. We got college football ahead. Whiteout. We're definitely looking forward to it. Keep on coming back. Rivals, we're out.